Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Evanina, I wanted to take a moment to reiterate a few aspects of your testimony. You say that Xi Jinping's goal is to be the geopolitical, military, and economic leader in the world. You say that Xi, along with the Chinese Ministry of State Security, People's Liberation Army, and the United Front Work Department drive a comprehensive and whole-of-country approach to their efforts to invest, leverage, infiltrate, influence, and steal from every corner of the U.S. This is a generational battle for Xi and the CCP. It drives their every decision. You go on to say that this is an existential threat to America and that the strategy of the Chinese Communist Party begins with U.S. intellectual property and trade secrets theft. We also have statistics in the record today about how, according to the Department of Justice, approximately 80% of all economic espionage cases prosecuted by DOJ involve theft of trade secrets by the Chinese government or its instrumentalities or agents, and approximately 60% of all trade secret misappropriation cases brought in the U.S. have a nexus to China. Now, the Biden administration, about a year ago, decided to end the China Initiative. This is a headline, February 23rd, 2022, from NPR. The Justice Department is ending its controversial China Initiative. And the head of the National Security Division was Assistant Attorney General Matthew Olson, who said, "While I remain focused on the evolving significant threat that the government of China poses, I have concluded that this initiative is not the right approach." Instead, the article goes on, he said the current threat landscape demands a broader approach. And Olson also added that, that I do believe that the China Initiative was driven by genuine national security concerns, but I am also mindful that the department must maintain the trust of the people whom we serve. So you say this is simply a change in nomenclature as opposed to a substantive change in the initiative. But what effect do you think the comments of the Assistant Attorney General and the decision to say we're ending this program have in terms of the message we're sending to the rest of the world about how much we tolerate intellectual property theft from China?
Congressman, thanks for the question. I'm not sure about the intent of the narrative of the Department of Justice statement on their impact of the China Initiative, but I can tell you that the initiative has not ended. They may have changed it, but I think right now, more than ever, you're going to see an uptick in cases and investigations. But also, despite that effort, the American companies are reporting nefarious activity more now than they ever did. And I would say that to your numbers, and I think we have to also remember on data theft is an issue here with the Communist Party of China, and that was also inclusive of the initiative. And we're looking at 80% of all Americans have had all their data stolen by the Communist Party of China. The other 20%, just some of their data. So when you include intellectual property and data theft, it's unequivocal existential threat that the Communist Party of China poses against the United States.
Thanks very much. And Mr. Cohen, you quote a study in your testimony about how China's global lead extends to 37 out of 44 technologies right now when it comes to innovation in a number of crucial technology fields. And you also discuss how we need to have a better understanding on how the declining scope of patent-eligible subject matter has affected U.S. competitiveness with other countries, including China. So it seems there's a few aspects of the problem we've been talking about. There's the Chinese theft, the theft of U.S. intellectual property by the Chinese Communist Party and its agents. There is the growing capacity of China to produce its own intellectual property. And then there's perhaps, in some ways, our declining capacity in the United States to keep pace. So I just wanted to give you a moment to discuss the extent to which that third facet of the problem is something that we could address, and what are some concrete steps to do so.
Great question again. Thank you for that. This question, I think, relates to declining STEM education in the United States, reliance on foreign talented students coming here rather than our own people to be educated in STEM-related disciplines. I think also in terms of competitiveness with China, I think the lack of Chinese-educated scientists, Chinese language-educated scientists and diplomats also contributed to a lack of deep understanding of the Chinese competitive threat, if you will. And I'm always amazed when we talk about Chinese industrial policy that people always refer back to Made in China 2025. It's now 2023. 2 years from now, that's gone. Along the way, we've had hundreds, perhaps thousands, of 5-year industrial policies out of China at a national level, a local level, a ministerial level, at a trade association level. Actually, it's a rich trove of information, if you will, that could be used to determine the kinds of competitive threats that the U.S. government and U.S. industry should consider when it invests and when it makes strategic decisions about American competitiveness. So we really need both sides of the equation, I think. We need more scientists and engineers, more scientific talent, and to be attractive to other countries, citizens to come here to study, to work, and to build up new enterprises. And we also need better technology management and better understanding of the competitive threats in order to manage our relationship with China.